forgot. We are doing our incoming intro. We are doing a nice, peaceful intro. Okay. That is so crazy though that yesterday's stream before we did the sleep stream, it literally ended at 444. And I didn't notice that until after the fact. That's crazy. So, hold on.
It's football time, and Uber Eats has deals from your favorite restaurants and grocery stores all season. Like a buy one, get one Smoke Shack from Shake Shack, available now on Uber Eats. When football makes you hungry, get deals all season long on Uber Eats. Texas fees and terms apply. Offer valid through 10/26. See app for details.
Things today can seem kind of unpredictable. Who knows what's around the corner, right? Well, at Total Wireless, we want to give you something to be sure about. With us, you save 50% off Metro and Cricket when you switch or line. Guaranteed. And you get to keep the
And
phone
back.
and number you love. Visit our Total Wireless store today. 50% save.
I am back, chat. So, yesterday, I'm going to keep saying today though, because it's still today until I go to sleep. So, yesterday was World Mental Health Day. And I feel like that has been the theme of this year, has been me working on not only my mental health, but doing the inner. So it started out with mental health. I feel like that's just such a broad term. That's such a broad term. Like mental, like what does that mean to people? Mental health, the wellness of our mentalities. When you say it like that, that's already scary because look at the mentalities that are out there and how people treat one another and go about in daily life. That's scary. So that's why I say, what does that even, like, what does the old definitions of, like, put them in an insane asylum because they cry too much or they're wacko, like, that doesn't fit. I really started this year out in faith because at the tail end of last year, I was making choices to better my health and prolong my life. And that included stopping vaping. And there were multiple reasons to all these things, but essentially wanting better for myself. Hey Thug, thanks for the likes. Welcome in, welcome in. Welcome in, welcome in. Hey Carolyn. But it was making better decisions for my health and my life in hopes that I would be a healthier, stronger version of myself. So that included, giving up the vaping, and then the nicotine smoking altogether after that, and then drinking, and then all of that I was able to do because I started reading my Bible, and because I used music as a way to heal myself. All I did was listen to music, I swear. All the time. And it was Nicki Minaj. It was Nicki Minaj and her community. That's why I'm, Barb's for life. Barb's for life. And they encouraged me to make those healthier decisions, not just because, you hear things that other people do for themselves and efforts they put in, and then you start thinking, oh, maybe I could do that. Maybe I finally could, or maybe I should. I don't know. Let's try something new. And and then deeper reasons behind that. But I've talked about this quite a lot, but I know that, you go live so many times and not everybody hears every single thing, so that doesn't mean to just stop talking about it. And it goes with everything I wanted to talk about today, and just mental health. Yeah. So, like I was saying, music, Bible, going on walks, hugging trees, appreciating the animals, having, all sorts of different things. It was like a multi-step process here. Gratitude lists, writing, and it really changes your mindset after a while. So it was like I started out this year with a clear, sober mind, and with hope and intention and mindfulness. And that led to me really finding hope and inspiration from the streamers that I admire so much. Kai Cenat, I Show Speed, all the members of AMP and the Clover Boys and RDC. Literally, I write them down in my gratitude list. And more than that, more people than that, obviously, but those were the first really, yeah. And then Mr. Beast, Drewski, all these people that create places to laugh and inspire hope or inspire creativity. Just like with all the artists that I appreciate so much. And all the people that went to Streamer University. That's why Streamer University is such an amazing thing. So all that to say, I, started out this year in that way, and then it was inspired and impacted in these ways. And then that led me to, empowering myself and taking control of what I can control in my life and what I can choose and how I can grow. mentally and emotionally and spiritually. And that led me to, starting streaming myself and going live and doing content creation and putting all my hopes and efforts and into that. And so while it's been inspiring and it has been a really hard journey, because it's like I'm living daily in this either healing or creating mindset, which is, they're intertwined. And so, in living day to day, just in hope and in prayer and in faith. And while that has been, I've had so much healing going on and understanding and development, I also, that's where the mental health, and it also gives you a whole different perspective if you do read, the Bible, because what is that, we are all, humans just created, it's changed, this year's changed everything in my perspective on everything I ever knew. And so, while trying to heal and also healing, the inner child, that was something I learned all these different things about life, about us as humans. And while I feel like that has given me, again, more clarity and understanding than I've ever had in my life, it also makes it very confusing, because it's like you realize how much you really don't fit into, once you step outside that realm, I feel like, of, everyday merry-go-round, everybody thinking the same or having the same ideas, just on that constant spin of life, spin of the day-to-day, spin of the same routines, keeping up with the Joneses, all that kind of stuff, just, and going with the flow, following the crowd, doing what everybody says just so you fit in, the conformity of it all and all that. Once you step outside of that and really, you can't, it really leaves you in this space where either you grow and succeed past that and have your own life, and you're independent, and while having chosen friends and family, and you live how you want to live, or you lose hope. I mean, that's just to say that, so in all of that, how would you, and you get one life experience, right? And that can go either way. If you're being hard on yourself and the pressure, you're like, I get one life, what am I gonna do? And then if you're or you're using it as motivation, oh, I don't need to worry about that, I can do this, or I can do that, or let's have fun. You only get one life, or something's embarrassing. Y'all get the point. Something's embarrassing though, oh, there's only one life. You make a mistake, you only get one lifetime experience. But these are all really real things. We get one lifetime experience, and think about that. Everybody just follows the rules that are out there, and we all just go with the flow and do what not to embarrass ourselves or to be cool or to be complacent. Like, and I know I've been saying all these things all year, and that's why I'm so hard on myself, which is something I have been, we all have our things that we work on, that shadow work, which is another thing too. Just because you have one life doesn't mean you don't take responsibility and do the inner work, because I believe, and if you read the Bible or whatever your faith is, all faith is rooted in love, and that's what the self-love and unconditional love was the biggest change of my life. I think that's another point that misses out too, is that's why a lot of the world is so unhappy and people are so terrible, is because they don't love themselves or know that something out there, whatever your faith may be. If I did, like, I shared this on my Instagram story earlier, because it always in that divine timing, that was one of the posts that I saw. And that's what I'm saying. If I didn't have God, I don't know where, like, with everything I've been saying, if you don't have God, like mental health this, mental health that, God is the only thing that keeps you rooted, like day in and day out, going through whatever you're going through. Like, that is the rock, that is the constant. So it's like that keeps you grounded and stable, whether you're happiest of happies or lowest of lows, or like you have everything, you have nothing. Who you are is rooted in something outside of yourself. And going with that, and I've been talking about how I noticed a lot of the things. Why is it messing? Okay, now I'm kind of annoyed, because why did TikTok just say invite Saucy Scientina to co-host? Don't. That's so sick. Can you really send that to anybody though? That'd be like if imagine Nicki went live right now. invite Nicki Minaj to co-host. Chill. Okay. But the reason why I wanted to share all that, well, we kind of got off track there, but just to make sure that, I think it's most important is to continue to, for me, is to continue to talk about my actual feelings and emotions, and to be my authentic self, which was where this all started from, was my effort to live my most authentic life, which was all emotions and feelings honored, and being who you are regardless of who you're around, or what you look like, or how much money you have, like being truly you. Which, that's what Jesus did, by the way, and that's why they didn't like him, because he didn't go by formalities and the rules. He spoke what was on his mind and was sassy and spoke truth, and he wasn't a hater. He had love for everybody and was literally like, said what it was out of kindness and love and compassion. And they didn't like that. They were like, nah, that's not how shit goes around here. We got rules. You need to sacrifice on this day at this hour, and under this location you're going to do this, and everybody needs to arrive wearing this, and I don't screw the poor, like the fatherless. Like, Jesus literally said all that was, he's like, no, Y'all are horrible. Stop it. Save the people. Protect the pure hearts and the innocent people. And they were like, that's it. That's enough. Get him out of here. So, and the reason why, and then somehow that got missed out and religion became what it is, and everybody just uses it to continue with comparison and this person's better than that person. Or there is just a lot of need, but people become codependent in that, so that they just become enmeshed and lose independence and the ability to be who you really are. So everyone's life experience is different, but I am just speaking to what I have learned and witnessed and been a part of, and my life experience and all these lessons I've been learning and what has helped open up my mind and heart. But yeah, my authentic self and world mental health. I will say, so that's another thing though, is with living day to day and your hopes and dreams and faith, also setting yourself apart from past behaviors and relationships, friendships, all family members, and respecting yourself enough to walk away from those things, not just giving in out of loneliness or patterns or guilt or fear. Because that was one of the most helpful first things that Nikki said that stuck out to me was fear, guilt, and shame are of the devil. And they talk about comparison a lot in the Bible too, and I think that is another problem with, I don't think people necessarily have ill intentions in all churches and stuff. Again, it is a community, mindful, with the love of God is the intention, and to have community. But I think just from the time Jesus walked the earth, comparison was an issue. And nowadays, we all grew up with the constant it's nowhere near as rampant as it is now. But those same issues linger. The constant comparison to everyone in the world right on a screen. And then it makes it hard, especially when you're utilizing social media as a way to talk to people and stream and stuff, but having to reclaim those spaces where those ghosts of the past linger. And a lot of those ghosts don't want to go. They don't want to go. They want to stay. I'm laughing, but it's Jesus. Just literally Jesus. And I think that is so you control your own actions and what you say. That's all you can control. And a lot of the times, I don't know if I can control what I say, honestly. Because I'm just trying to speak from the heart, and so if I'm speaking from the heart, can I control what? I'm still figuring that one out. But I think it's hard, again, clearing out those closets and getting rid of those ghosts, because once you set on that path to let go of the past and move forward, you are a new creation. You are creating a new life for yourself. You are choosing different. But to be stuck in those same spaces physically, whether that literally physically on your phone, because there's that whole other realm there, Okay? So unless you're gonna delete and start a whole new and then block every, but you know what I'm saying? Like, all those old names, those old memories, they're all still there. So it's like, that it is a struggle for me personally. And these are all things that affect my mental health, you know? I'm not going to share every single one, but like, I just know that these are universal. Like, you know, we all feel these things in some way or another. Mm-hmm. I think it's just really about the ability to move forward and change and reclaim these spaces, and to move forward in life to where these things don't affect you as much or anymore. And I think that continues to, I think that happens, like, you know, the more you grow and move forward, like, reaching goals and progressing with what you hope to achieve. Mm-hmm. I just think I just wanted to share about how I was, the kind of things that I've been going through, and share my authentic emotions and feelings with you guys. Because I don't want to just turn on autopilot again, you know? To where I'm just doing the same old and keeping up with everything and doing what's the trends, and, you know? I want to keep who I am and what I'm doing, because that matters. And that was another reason why I started doing this too, was, you know, to empower myself and to be seen and heard for who I truly am. And so to do that, you gotta speak your truth. And this was really hard for me to get on and talk about this. Oh, the timing was different, but it is hard for me to get on here and talk about this stuff, you know, as it would be for anybody to share their feelings with their community on live. But in honor of World Mental Health Day. But that's why I say, going back to mental health and day, I would say that I guess the things that we can fix. So loneliness. I will tell you what has, okay, look, here's some positives. I will tell you some positives. I've told you some of the things that I do too. And when I create TikToks, I'm doing that to make me happy. Like, those make me happy. When I get inspired, I usually do them. But then I learned, oh, you can just do it for fun. Who knew? So, seriously, when you spend your whole life in, like, anxiety and fear, and, you know, you never think, oh, I should just do this for fun. So, yeah. That's been something that has been an outlet for me to have fun and to enjoy. Amongst all those other things I listed before. But seriously, the going outside, the creating, streaming is fun. Streaming is fun when I'm not nervous and when I'm able to just be myself. So that's another reason I wanted to share my feelings, because that's me being myself. Okay. Oh yeah, so positives. So it was before, I guess, all these schools around here did walk to school. Oh, I got to go out, guys. I was so happy. They actually, there's only two, which I'm grateful because I know a lot of people don't even have a track near them to, in their towns or whatnot. Like, but there's two tracks here, the junior high and the high school. Actually, there's three now that I think about it. I never even thought of that other one though, because I didn't go to school there. But I'm gonna say I'll go back to two though. So there's two. Now I'm like, okay, now I know there's a third though that's there. Okay. But there's two tracks here, and one is on one side of the town, and then one is literally I walk there. And they never have this one open, but they did. I don't know, cuz the holiday or what. And so I was really happy cuz I got to do my miles. I made sure to do the 3 miles. I'm very proud of myself for that. But I had to cut it short though. I was wrestling around there in my head, and they had like just a pack of skunks on the grass and digging around. The first time I went around, there was one skunk. It was on the track, and I was like, oh shit. And then I like clapped my hands like the chicken parent trap with the mountain lions, and I clapped my hands and it went away. But then near the end, when I was like really talking with God, there were just more skunks, and I was like, okay, you know what? Okay, you're telling me to leave. You're telling me to leave. I'm going, God. I'm going, because I don't want to get sprayed or attacked by a feral beast. I don't know if they attack people, but I feel like they do. They spray them. That's an attack. So I saw skunks today, went to the track, was able to. That made me really happy. And I saw kitty. I saw this big kitty and this dog that was like a bear. So I saw those things. The other night, I meant to tell y'all, the other night I saw a fox. I actually saw a fox. Not close enough. I wanted to get closer, but I could tell it was the first time I've ever seen a fox, not at the zoo, like in real life. I saw a fox, and I saw I think it was an armadillo on the trail. So literally in these last couple days, I've seen deer, I've seen a fox, I've seen a skunk. I've literally seen the whole Bambi. I've seen all of Bambi this week. What does this mean? Plus an armadillo. Okay. So, and it's getting real cold outside, which I'm surprised. I swear it's never been this cold like this early. Mind you, it was only like 75 yesterday, and I was like, anything under 80, my body is not accustomed to. It's pretty easy. That's why I get mad the times I've been out to California. Which only been like twice, but both times I expected it to be hot, sunny, like, and it was freezing to me. It was freezing. Oh yeah. Okay, so the animals, right? And then what has made me happy was, I wanted to record a TikTok there. The house that I did the funny My Chick Bad TikTok to, they added more. I went by the other day and they added more. Oh my gosh. They added a badass alien in a globe, and they added carved pumpkins, and they added more skeletons and the It Clown. I think something else too, but it was too dark to tell. So, hey, thanks for the follows. But yeah. So they added more decorations, and I've seen more people decorated their houses. And I swear more people have been outside, like walking and stuff. I like that. I like that. I like seeing other people out in the community. I like seeing the animals and the people. The animal is far away from me, and then the people a good distance. And oh yeah, but what made me happy was I noticed that this weekend that I think I mentioned it the other day that they did like the walk to school stuff and and fall break, and so everywhere I've gone, I swear, or like everywhere I've been walking, they have had just these cute little chalk drawings and sayings and positive quotes like the whole way. And it was just such a small thing, but it really just made me feel not alone when I was outside walking. And so it's like just things like that can, you know, because again, you take mental health from being an overwhelming, like, what is that, to like, okay, people feel lonely. Well, you know, some encouraging words and drawings on the sidewalk can lift up your day, lift up your spirit. Boom. Hey, thanks for the likes. But you see? And so imagine if the world just kept doing things like that. Like, not everybody needs to do and solve everything and all your problems, but they can do little things that in the grander aspect build us up as a whole. Yes. But there is, okay. And since it was also World Mental Health Day, I wanted to do something I haven't done in a while. And I wanted to read my poems that I had wrote recently. Okay? Because I haven't done that in a while. I've only done one before. No. Actually, this may be the third time. Because the first ones I did, I read on live. And then the second ones I read outside. And then, so this third time we'll be here with you guys. And there's only two. But I feel like I'm really coming upon another, like I feel myself leveling. I do feel like I'm in a shift again. Like with everything this year, I've been shifting, and then you know, that constant like hardness on yourself and that pressure, like you're like, oh, I'm going backward, and then it's like they say healing is non-linear, and you're like, no, but I need to go, like, you know, which that is again one of the biggest things is the amount of pressure that we put on to all of us from such a young age. That has to be acknowledged on a day about mental health. Okay? But I wanted to read those two recent ones to y'all. And hey, thank you for the likes. Hey, chat. Ghostface, bro. But I wanted to read these two also because then it would be like, while we solidify this third spot, I feel like I'm also shedding off these old words. You know what I'm saying? Now, is that how... That must be what it is for artists. I mean, you know, well, yeah. Hey, Gabe. How are you? That must be how it is for artists, though. Like, they live the experience, or they have the ideas, or the, you know, the process of it. They write it all down, and then I wonder, you know, however long they take until they release that. And then they can move on to their new level of mentality or you know what I'm saying? That's part of your growth. That's part of your journey. We are doing a lot. I'm like, we're doing a lot. Yeah. Guys. Okay, we are about to read some poems of mine. 2 that I had wrote. In honor of everything we've been talking about tonight and me releasing, ready for my next chapter. But I was, here's what I had said though. So it's about the pressures, control, emotional abuse, and repression, all of this placed on children and perpetuated throughout society. So, I guess there's kind of 3 actually, but I don't know if I would call... No, I'm not going to do that one. I'm just going to do these 2. Not just. I'm going to read these 2. Okay, so this one was from, these both were from September, actually. Okay, so see, we're moving into the month of October. My birthday's coming up. I told y'all the next chapter is coming. This is the sheddings before the rebirth. Okay, well, this one was inspired by the Nelly concert and his song Just a Dream. And I called it a pipe dream. A pipe dream. Long and slow, drifting in, drafting out, covering the cabin like the ivy from long ago. Moon is high, stones roll, larks sing, ravens crow, caws, guffaws, muddy little paws, sneak through like whispers, linger like glowing eyes. You put me on trial, tricky little lies. The toll bridge comes, the smoke always settles, only one sealed fate, a soul sold to the devil. So the next one is called Welcome to the Zoo. Fuck yeah. In a forest of darkness, I'm put on stage. Animals prowl around me, tearing at my cage. I feel the spit flying from their roars, their virtuous banging and not so hushed whores. Talons poking through, stabbing me harshly. My blood drips out profusely. I whisper sorry. Put them down. Put them to shame. Banish these demons, God, in your holy name. And so those were my poems. Yes, I did. I did, Gabe. Thank you. I did. But yeah, I haven't written any since then. I feel like been more focused on streaming. And also, I feel like it is hard with... That's why I say it's hard to... And again, I'm speaking to my experience and what I'm going through, because I know a lot of things are hard. That has been seeing just how cruel the world can be to some people this year has been another part with my learning, because it'll humble you and it'll crush you, and it'll also show you, though, that not everybody, you know, it again, where you see the darkness of it all, you see the light. You see the light in others, and you appreciate it in those people more. I forgot where we were going with that. Oh, just that it is hard to continue to be soft in your heart and present. I feel like that's how so I started this year with finally resting and stopping taking care of other people and draining myself constantly, and started healing my inner child, and it really softened and opened my heart and helped me heal. And that's what led me into a growing understanding and wanting to, you know, where I wanted to put my time and efforts, and continuing to learn to take care of myself and love myself and be independent emotionally and mentally, rather than codependent or in abusive situations. Learning to be all that you are and all that God made you to be, and empowering yourself. So yeah, this year of self-discovery, my self-journey has been incredible, has been very heavy. And I understand that, you know, everybody's experiences of life are different. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that so crazy? And then we're all just expected to go into these like places of like conformity, and all just intertwine. So interesting. But yeah, all that to go with World Mental Health Day. Because it really goes back to, with all these things in the world, you know, like take your like, we have to do better as a whole, you know. And it starts from each human being deciding, you know, what kind of human they want to be. What kind of impact they want to make. What kind of life experience they want to have for themselves. Are you just gonna go out to the bar drinking every weekend and watching the same shows and dating the same type of people that you're not truly happy with, but that's what you need for your ego? Like, and like whatever the case may be, but those are all similar patterns that we all kind of do, because everybody needs love and partnership, and you know, but it's the healthy forms of these things and healthy attachments, and not pressure, not control, not toxic. And I feel like that's what's so frustrating, is I feel like that, you know, these aren't, those should be basic human things. Like if you look at basic human rights, respect is one of the, you know, wish kindness was one of them, but that's why it's like, it really is about spirits, because people choose. You have the choice. You have the choice who you want to be. Thanks for the likes. But yes. That's how I would, that's how I feel about World Mental Health Day. Like, I'm glad that it does shine a spotlight, though. I'm glad that it does shine a spotlight, though, on very real things. Very real things. But if you, you know, from faith to, you know, human behaviors, it all just is about having real love, kindness, gentleness, compassion, quality care for one another. That's how you better the mentalities and the health of the people. Okay? I'm glad that I got to share with y'all. I'm glad that I got to be open and share and really feel things through. I did want to go to the 2 haunted houses from the other night. I wanted to make sure to do that before we get off. Okay. Yes, and that's another thing. That's why I put that in there. Claiming space without apology. That is another thing. Claiming space without apology. Okay? because like I said, that from Chloe in Wonderland, when she was talking about that one line, she had said, I wish that I could put that all over the world. If you are constantly telling a child to be quiet, that's all they're gonna know. So they learn that their needs and their wants and that they don't matter. And you know how that's, I'm not even going to get into it, but we know that things are a whole lot worse than that in most cases. So, but that's why empowerment, the power of your words, positivity, affirmations, encouragement, those things are so important to put into society. Not belittlement, not control, not judgment. Yeah. But it is necessary to, I know it's these are hard things to talk about, but it is necessary to talk about them so that we as a society, we can learn from it and we can apply these things to make our lives better, to make the lives of others better. Those are the kind of things, that need to be talked about on World Mental Health Day, because we all deserve a world like that. That is better for our mentalities, that is better for our health. One that has more love and peace. A lot of people, they shut down because of the hard things of life, and they want everybody else to suffer or belittle everyone around them so that everybody's just uptight. But then you've seen all the type. There's a whole bunch of types of people out there. But again, that's why it goes back to, that's not love. That's why when I started out and said that about the scary mentalities, that there's a lot of scary mentalities running around, and I think that people are finally waking up. I think if I've been waking up this year, I know I'm not the only one, because I've been learning from other people, and we are mirrors. We are mirrors that learn from one another and put those ideas, put those words, those lessons, we put those out there for one another to learn and apply it. And I mean, how many times, have we as a society been at this space and are relearning the same ideas? You know what I'm saying? Like, we are finally learning what humans need the most of. And it makes it hard for those things to be applied, because we're just constantly being distracted and pressured and streamlined, whether it's work, school, family, friend, or the constant comparison from the constant scrolling, the constant media, and just the overstimulation of it all. That's why one of the most helpful things I did was stop reading sometimes I do still read my emails, every now and then, because of streaming, but I stopped reading the news. I stopped looking at anything from any of that. And that has been one of the most beneficial things to my journey. Mm-hmm. That, and I didn't add that in my list, but turning off all the electronics and going outside and talking with God and talking to yourself, doing the inner work, all those things really bring you forward can be really hard and upsetting, you know, or boring at the lowest, but that either, you know, that's what gets you your ideas on what to create or what you want to do, or really gives you clarity of your heart and your mind, and so that you become aligned in what you want and where you want to go. Yeah. And believe it or not, this actually is really hard for me to be here openly and share as myself. Instead of just, you know, going to what's comfortable. Thanks for the follows. But with how fast everything goes and the day and stream of stuff, I just feel this was what was on my heart, and this was what I wanted to share today. So, that being said, we are about to go to the haunted house and see some ghosts. We are about to go see some ghosts. Some spookiness. Okay. Yeah. Make ourselves... This is what's going to make us happy. Happy or scared? Happy or scared? Wait. Chat. I'm going to reset y'all over here. I'm going to reset y'all over here. But thank you guys for listening.